How do they know? I feel so lame and right now, a little bit sick in my stomach trying to figure this out. About 6 months ago, I found my wife had been messaging this guy she used to know through Facebook. Seemed harmless enough, but he was asking inappropriate stuff like wanting pictures. She didn't do that and I found out by chance and cut it off before it escalated. Although she didn't do pictures or anything explicit. He lives 200 plus miles from us. She didn't exactly shut him down either. I confronted her about it and we had a massive bust up. Promised to try to work through it and moved on. My laptop crashed a few days ago so I used hers. Saw her messenger was open and took a peek. Sort of wish I hadn't. And it seems she has been at it again. The messages I found were sent while she was in bed and I was dashing around the house getting ready for work. The messages mention her deleting a conversation they'd had a few days before. He was gloating saying I'd be jealous lol while she was concerned. I wouldn't be happy about it. I have gained access to her Facebook and Messenger on my laptop now, also one of her emails. She has changed passwords to Facebook and her Hotmail. Backdoor through an email to Facebook though. I am blown away. Things have been hectic and busy with work I know, but we have been way better than before I found out about this guy. I just don't understand what's going on. Or more to the point, what should I do? I've known since Friday, been eating me up a bit now. Part of me says throw her and the last 10-plussers out in the parking lot and move on as fast as possible. The other part says that I should put surveillance on her phone and try and catch the full extent of how bad this is first. I wanted to punch her in the face at lunch today. I was so angry, but I need this advice first. Divorces are expensive things and I am a little bit paranoid. I think it best to just hoist her out the door at this point. I mean, we had a bust up end of Feb. I have mistakenly thought we were over the worst. Seems like so many women that I have read about on here that they simply quit for a bit then go underground and get sneakier. I think the best way is to blow her up at her works on Wednesday night after changing the locks. Dump her stuff in the parking lot and confront her in front of all her friends and co-workers in the restaurant so she can't spin this on me as being unreasonable or some sort of bastard. God only knows, I don't have any friends here, merely acquaintances. I left all my friends behind years ago when we moved away for work in the recession. Still feel like crap, can't sleep, all I can do is smoke cigarettes and drink tea. We rent this place. I know she can't afford it on her own, so that makes it awkward for the landlord as we are co-signers on the house. I either have to get her took off or myself. Leaving is easy for me. Got cash enough to rent a place anywhere local for work. Quick search has shown an abundance of properties to rent closer to my work and away from here that would just require me to get signed off the tenancy. Feel much calmer after some sleep. I'm not going to confront her with anything yet. Neither am I going to bother snooping further. It seems a fool's errand. Looking at various threads, they do this reconciliation thing and she just gets a second phone. New email. Uses other means and methods. Seems she likes the internet and I can't police that. Might as well face it. She got bored, found something else to play with, and I'm not enough for her or for her to think about as having a marriage worth saving. I need to think about my own future. I still think this requires a big-time blowout at her works with screenshots of what I have so far handed out for all to see. I know I have been manipulated, so it's plain to see she will spin this around on me. But I am in two minds. She has 2 really long days each week, Mondays and Fridays. I could empty the house completely in a day and just leave her clothes and bags in the lounge. Her face would be a picture. Quick dig up on him. Single loser, age 37, rented flat, no car, spends most of his money getting wasted on drink and drugs, complete opposite of me. Hence attraction, I suppose. He's 200 plus miles away and she can walk there for all I care right now. Update. It has been a bit of a roller coaster these last 2 weeks. Solicitors are expensive. I've moved out, found a little cottage just outside Winchester to rent, handy for work. Filed for no-fault divorce, have explained it in a way that we have just grown apart. Solicitors say they and the courts can do the rest and will contact me about papers to sign when they're ready. She's gone mental but not going to worry about that. I have done the right thing regards the house. I paid 3 months in advance. An existing contract expires on the 1st of January anyway, so that is her problem now. Letting agent tells me that she will have the option to take on the house solo or will have to leave. Her choice. Solicitor says I am not liable for the house or upkeep as we both worked and split some of the bills, so she was not dependent on me for finance. Savings was split. We had separate banking, so no drama there. I didn't blow anything up, just packed my stuff up slowly into plastic crates over the course of a week, and on her long day last Friday I took a day off, had a recovery truck pick up my personal car, swapped my little Fiesta Works van for a hired Transit Jumbo for the weekend, loaded my boxes of belongings into it, put my dogs in their transport crates, posted the keys through the letterbox in an envelope with a proper handwritten letter and drove off. All in all, I am a little bit nervous of being alone, but to be honest, there seems to be no real noticeable difference. She worked evenings in the restaurant and I always ate alone as not to eat too late at night. I walked the dogs on my own and for a long time now I've been the cook and cleaner in the house. It seems as though I have been living a single life with a freeloading roommate that I cooked for and cleared up after and had occasional bonding with. What a strange way to have ended up. It sort of seems as though life has happened around me and I've just sat and become complacent of what's been going on in my own life. electronic emotional affair, where she gets her emotional needs met by another man through the internet. That for me is totally unacceptable. It is one thing to be and moan to a girlfriend about your troubles at home with your husband, but to be doing it with another, straight, man on the internet is not fine by me, especially when he openly says he wants to be more than an ear to bash for a text or two. Been a long time since I've seen your body seems harmless, but then couple that with 2 messages later, think you should send me a pic, and her response was not one of hell no. It was simply, well, you'll just have to use your imagination. I am not stupid. She courted this loser's attention, looked at all the timestamps, and was sure to photograph them too. I'm running around the house like a loon getting ready for work where I'm late, and she's telling him I've got to be careful he hasn't left for work yet. Telling, isn't it? I blew up at her once for what I deemed inappropriate contact with the same loser, and then she decided the best foot forward was to simply go underground with it, thinking that I wouldn't look again. I freely admit that I hadn't anticipated her going underground, and maybe I should have been wiser and more searched online to find out what comes next. Could have been here months ago. She chose her path. She had a second chance to not fluff up, did it again anyway, for whatever reason. I have no idea and don't much care either. I am secure in my situation and can leave the rest to the solicitors. There are days still where I am not sure about things, but each time I stumble, I think about the fact that she didn't tell him to stop the stupid crap. She enjoyed having someone new chase her, it's obvious, and the more videos I watch here, I am 100% certain that I made the right choice. I read dozens of these things, dozens of women who rekindled old flames, who were seduced by the advances of a player who courts women online. They do it once, it's fun and exciting, it makes them feel good, and they do it again and again. She likes it but needs more than words and pics, and he wants to see flesh. The more juicy and succulent the better. She flashes it to keep his attention, and in deeper she goes. Before you know it, she's hooked and meeting up for secret rendezvous and unprotected bonding. Solicitors say that there has to be some form of dependency for liability to pay any ongoing maintenance. Neither of us were ever dependent on the other for financial security, any kind of allowances. We both worked, earned equivalent wages, and shared much of the outgoing living costs. He says this should be fairly open and shut, no-fault divorce. I read a few threads where the whole process was protracted for want of adultery on the books. I don't care. As far as I am aware, there was no physical contact, and there have been absolutely no signals that there was anything in the past that I can recollect. So this is the way forward, and I want it wrapped up fast. I am not interested in trying the couple counseling or any of that rubbish. I was always open and approachable, but it seems old flames can provoke strange responses in women, and even so much as to say they can and do withhold that contact is not to create a problem, which in essence creates a problem in itself. Honesty is the best policy. If she were to want contact with the ex, then it would be more reassuring to talk about it honestly than to try to hide it. Unless there are problems with having contact with said ex, then it seems that she should not be engaging in any contact with him, and should be even more open about any approaches and should be rebutting them. Half a year later, I must be old and have higher expectations or something. Or am I overreacting? Passed the divorce a good many months back now, and I started dating a nice woman, little younger than me, 30 as opposed to 39, and it all seems to be going great. After a couple of months I thought we were exclusive until this morning. She used my laptop last night as her phone was on the blink and had left her messenger open on it. This morning she had to work and I was just home chilling and thought I would watch some junk on YouTube, and there it was, her messaging some guy, and it seems like he was interested. What the heck do I do about this phenomenon? Is it just rubbish, or how does this crap work exactly? She had wrought this morning and I was watching a film on TV. We had already been out all day in town together and I thought had enjoyed a lovely day. I just wanted to relax on the couch with the dogs watching TV. There was a message notification in the middle of the screen that I opened. That was the point where the page opened up to the full conversation. It was the fact that she was at work and it was her instigating it at 8:02, literally just as she walked out the door, that has pissed me off the most. My couch is super comfy, and being single for almost a year has meant that I have become quite used to just kicking back and relaxing with the dogs and not worrying about bedtime, as such as I can fall asleep straight after dinner and then go up at midnight when I wake up. She was super nice when she came in at 2. I haven't said a word as she has just left to go home for a few nights. Didn't even ask to use my laptop, so she either doesn't know I've seen or it isn't important to her. Either way, I think that as she has all her stuff, I might pop round there on Tuesday when I go for Chinese and tell her it's over. I suppose in this new era of dating, exclusivity has become a formal contract and has to be enforced much like a business arrangement. I guess I just assumed she had a social life and it was girlfriends messaging and what have you. I am very recently divorced and didn't want to let insecurity eat me up, so I left well alone. Perhaps there was a mistake. I suppose the better thing to do would be to set out on paper what I actually expect and sort of formulate a speech as such and make it very plain and very clear from the outset. We shall see, but she's toast. I've lost interest in trying to rebuild trust with someone who left my bed, walked out of my door, and immediately started texting some bloke slagging me off. We had been out all day and she complained of being sore when I was sleeping with her yesterday morning after the Friday night session that lasted about 3 hours. She had worked this morning, Had complained earlier in the day of being tired and having to get up early, so I thought I would leave her to her early night and finish watching the film on the couch with the dogs. Had I known her vague was super fast healing, I would have gone straight to bed and smashed the granny out of her all over again. Most girls tend to want a night, and sometimes two off when it gets sore down there. Besides, she can always initiate if she wants it that bad, can she not? I am in no rush, but I certainly thought that there was more to our relationship than FWB or FB or whatever you millennials call yourselves these days. Not impressed, as I guess it brought back those all too familiar feelings from a year ago. Looking forward to more free time though, and more time relaxing on the couch with the dogs. I will tell her why I am ending it, and I will make it clear that I had expectations, and that communication is a two-way street, something I feel a lot of posters here are neglecting. She could have also said more. She could have been more decisive and not been such a bee. If she has low self-esteem, she will build it being treated as though she is a virtual toy through her phone. Good luck to her. She'll need it more than me, and I have learned a valuable lesson. Time is precious, and not to waste it on people that don't see life the same way as you do. I've been learning about this hookup culture where Tinder is all they do, and picking through the friends lists of their Facebook friends and sending messages to anyone they think looks good enough. I know several lads at work who are regularly having one-night stands and picking up girls in pubs and clubs, going to the car park, having slept together in the car and going back inside. One lad was screwing the barmaid in the toilet, then came back to rejoin the group. I think it's more a case of bonding being dislocated from love and relationships, which I think is very sad. I had a couple of days to calm down, and I wasn't particularly invested in the relationship as we hadn't been going steady for that long. Must admit there was a part of me that wanted to be vindictive. I've deleted the screenshot of the messages, and I want nothing to do with her. The whole thing has made me think about her, and I feel pity for her. If it is all about the bonding and the dopamine rush of instant gratification, then she has a hard life ahead of her. The guys will come and go. The types that are into the hookup culture are only in it for the bonding, and when the looks dry up, the bodies go saggy, there won't be much left to create a fulfilling life. Then of course we mustn't omit the risks involved with sleeping with multiple partners over a long course of time, and they are all into the same thing, multiple physical partners. That is a recipe for very serious health consequences in the future. Let us also not forget about the potential for pregnancy too. That will be a life-changing event, that is for sure. Then it will be a question of who's the daddy. But it's not my problem. We can leave that for some other poor mug to worry about. There are dozens of dating sites, and the internet has made the whole hookup culture even more convenient. There seems to be a distinct lack of investment in anything remotely akin to a relationship. It's like fast food: turn up, get served, chuck the rubbish in the bin and jog on, so to speak. There are a lot of women out there, and I am sure that I can do better, but I am just not sure I actually want to bother trying for a while. Just get back to being me and enjoying my own life. Her last message was, "I'm sorry, I thought you would be cool with me seeing other guys. Ring me." Seriously, when would any guy knowingly actually be cool with the girl he's seeing screwing some other guy? Just got home after sad morning at work, and she is sitting on my doorstep. I don't get this. Last Sunday she was slagging me off to another bloke who wanted to get in her pants. Tuesday she was in hot lingerie, and since I told her nicely and politely that we were going to part company and ignored her, she's been all over me. Okay, she's hot. Easy 8 in my book. But what the hell? Called the cops, and my camera on my driveway has my bottom covered. He wanted to know exactly what I knew, why I cut her off, why I never answered her calls and texts. I wasn't interested in what she had to say. The more I told her I didn't want to know, the more agitated she got. It was her agitation and volatility that made me think to ring the cops. As a man in this day and age, I feel I need to protect myself from slanderous allegations. I heard nothing today, and it's made me happy to think she's got the message. About a year later. Wow is about all I can say. Turns out I am the other man in someone else's marriage. After having been burned by women several times over the last few years, I decided it was time to just have fun, no strings dating and hanging out. Thought it was morally right to screen them a little. Just ask outright, are you in a relationship? Yes equals move on, no equals getting bare and hanging out. Thank God I live 2 hours away from them, and that my company has moved me out of that area for work as of tomorrow. But I need a bit of advice. Do I cut and run or face them and defend my position as a deceived party in this whole fiasco? Oh, he knows. Turned up at my hotel on Friday night. He must have followed her. I had a box of protection, a hot Chinese and a bottle of wine. Had a great time planned. It went south big style, and I am not happy about the way this has panned out. I just want to be honest with him, as I know that my own incidents of being cheated on left scars and so many unanswered questions that haunted my mind in the weakest of days. I don't want to rub it in that she was cheating on him to be with me. I want him to know it was her making moves on me that started it. I want him to know that she denied her marriage. She wore no ring, not even a tan line was visible. I want him to know how long it lasted, and to have the facts without her BS gaslighting and bottom covering to stop herself being kicked to the curb. In all honesty, I was a little preoccupied with trying to keep my teeth intact. I wrote an honest letter to him explaining myself to him and offering him the chance to meet up in a public setting. Sadly, due to his BS, we canceled the face-to-face, and tonight we had a long phone call. Damn, that was hard. I had nothing to hide and told him everything that had happened. He broke down and sobbed. She told him the opposite and disclosed barely 1/3 of our encounters. I am now certain that there is much more to my own past and that I must accept that I will never know the full truth. I guess, if she hasn't already packed, then she will be very soon. My comment: regardless of him trying to sabotage you, he deserved to know the story, and obviously she wasn't going to ever tell him. At least his decisions are informed now. I'm proud of you. Story 2. Stupid mistake. I don't know exactly where to start, so I will start with my story. My husband and I have been together for 3 years next month and married for 6 months. About 2 months ago, he told me he was unhappy with himself and was unsure if he wanted to continue to be a part of my marriage. He told me it had nothing to do with me, but he needed to be on his own to be happy. About 4 months ago, he started hanging out with a female coworker and would never invite me to come along. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind him hanging out without me, but every day off and saying he needed his space. I thought it was odd but kept my mouth shut. So about a month or so ago, he says he has made up his mind and wants a divorce. I ask if this has anything to do with his new friend and he replies no. So I'm sad to say that I have still been holding on to the hope that our marriage can work and waiting for him to make that decision for me. About 3 weeks ago, he tells me he wants to work on our marriage but did have an affair with the friend from work he had been hanging out with. I told him I wanted to work on our relationship also because I thought it was worth saving, but she had to go, no contact with her. I wake up the next morning to find a message from him saying he needs more time. A week goes by and he says yet again he is wanting to try but to take it day by day. That lasts 3 whole days until he goes to the bar with her, to which I show up, walk into the bar and sit down at the table her and him are at. He proceeds to tell me what a psycho I am and he is done. We have talked on and off since, but mostly when he contacts me for dirty favors. I know that I shouldn't even talk with him, but it hurts me that he is willing to give up so easily. He says that he needs to figure things out on his own, but how can he do that when he is constantly with her? It's so frustrating to know that I am at home sad, lonely and upset every night when he gets to continue to lead his life and basically replace me with someone else. I know that I shouldn't even still want him, but I do. I feel so lonely and he is the only one I want. What to do? I can't help but wonder what would have happened if I had not have just shown up at the bar that night. That's not the type of person that I am. I was just so fed up with his lies I had to do it. I often wonder if that truly is what changed his mind into not trying to work on our marriage. Well, now I am totally confused. For several weeks he has said he will be by to move his things out. He has been staying with family. So today I bag some clothes up and ask him when someone will be home so I can drop them off, because I am just sick of looking at them. He went completely nuts because I touched his things. Why get so upset that I am helping you move out to try and make things easier on me? So, it has been over a month that the husband said he wanted a divorce. Finally moved his things out last week and I'm still dying inside wanting to be with him. Told him from the start of this he is going to have to be the one to file for the divorce because this is his choice and something he has to do. He has seemed to move on to another woman and still hasn't filled. I have come to the conclusion I will have to file the paperwork to try to move on, but I can't bring myself to do it through the hurt. What advice do you have to help me bite the bullet and file for divorce? So, it's been about 2 months of the STBX not living with me, but I still find myself looking to him for answers. It was his decision to leave and I still feel like we didn't get an opportunity to try to work anything out. It was just his way. Even though I know I shouldn't, today I ask him, because he still has yet to file to start our divorce, do you see us being together? He responds probably not. I ask why probably not instead of just saying no. He says because I don't know. So, I ask, do you think it's a possibility? He says I don't know. I know that I shouldn't even ask, shouldn't even talk to him, but why can't he just say no? I still feel like he has not thought this whole thing through and that is what bothers me the most. I don't feel like I can move on because I am still holding on to that small hope of fixing things. So why can't he just say no? There is no chance. I wish that I could take away the control from him. I try to not talk to him, but as soon as he contacts me, I'm so lonely that I answer instead of ignoring it. I have thought about filling myself, but I really feel like if this is what he wants, then he needs to do it, not me. I truly feel like this is the place I can express all of my feelings and get feedback. While I have a very small group of family and friends that I can talk to, I sometimes feel like they don't want to hear about it all the time. I hope that the time will come that I can muster up the courage to say I'm done and go and file myself. I am so lonely in that I have surrounded myself with my H and his family in the past few years, that now without them I don't really feel like I have friends of my own. I blame me for that but can't do much about it now. I still wish with all of my heart that he would pull his head out of his bottom and come home and actually work on what we had. I just can't get away from that and I'm still being pulled between knowing that I deserve better, but don't want to give up without a fight. I unfortunately surrounded myself with my STBX and his family for the past several years, and what friends I do have are married, so the loneliness plays a big factor. I wrote an email today to the H that basically said I love you and I want to work on us. If you can't do that, you need to file for D so I can move on. Haven't sent it. It's sitting in the draft folder. I can't decide if I should or not when he was the one that walked out and has made no attempt to try. I don't want to look weak. I didn't send the email, it's still sitting in the drafts folder. Still not sure if I'm going to send it or not. I felt like if and or when I do I want it to be perfect. Meaning I want to make sure it says everything that I truly feel, because in my head I feel kind of like this is my one chance. I do have enough sense to know that it probably won't matter and it won't be any different. But I have never just sat down and sent an email with everything in writing. As foolish as it sounds, I feel like I need to try everything I can before I give up. I still don't know when that time will come and what it will take. I hope I know once I get there, but I don't feel like I'm there yet. I needed to vent. So, I have sent a few text messages to the STBX this weekend, just casual, saying hi, how are you, no response. I know I shouldn't have, but been lonely and still missing him. So last night I ask what he wants with his mail, should I just trash it? He replies an hour later and says no please don't, maybe I can come by and get it tomorrow. Have a good day. No, I didn't respond. I'm thinking why you think you can just come by when you have been ignoring me. Well, I will be going to bed with a headache tonight. Instead of sending an email, I ended up on the phone with the STBX after he texted me and asked how my day was. Basically, I wanted to know why he didn't want to be with me, why he felt that our marriage was not worth fighting for or even trying. Didn't end up with any answers except I don't want to be with you. Broke my heart all over again and I sobbed the whole time I was on the phone. I know not the attitude I should betray, but I just don't get why they won't give us a shot when he says he still cares and loves me, so why not be together? But seriously, I can't seem to get out of this funk. I feel like I'm stuck in the twilight zone. I can't get mad. I still love him so much and want nothing more than to be with him, even though he is being such a pain to me. Like someone said before, it seems like the only person I want to talk to and make me happy is him. How do I get mad? I don't want to feel like this anymore. It hurts. Had a good day yesterday. Was okay with everything. Looking back, I think I'm still in denial. Now today I wake up with the pending doom feeling. So frustrating. Must continue to remind myself the STBX doesn't care anymore, so why should I about him? Well, I now know why I woke up with a feeling of doom this morning. Just went online to Twitter to see my STBX with a picture of him and the she put up saying how cute are we? I want to vomit and scream and cry and not do nice things to either one of them. When does it stop bothering you? We have already detached physically. Just trying to do the hard part, the emotions. I can't stop thinking about that stupid picture. Feels like I've been punched in the stomach and had all the wind knocked out of me. Well, I know R was a long shot and not what I should be thinking about. This just makes it feel so final. Having a rough night. Can't stop thinking about, does he miss me? Does he still think about me? I know not the thoughts I need to be thinking. Just can't seem to get past them tonight. Feel like I am doing better overall today. Can't get the thought of hope out of my head though. Talked briefly with the STBX yesterday and he made the comment, maybe we can get together and do dinner sometime this week, to which I replied maybe. If only I would have left it at that, but instead, I added, are you sure your new GF won't mind? I know, after sending that it finally hit me. That's part of the reason why he doesn't want to be with me. I can't just leave it alone. I'm sure when he first started talking to the she wasn't worried about me. Well, no more wondering if I should file or not. The STBX texted me today and asked for my social. Can only assume it's for the divorce paperwork. Tried to call him back. No response. No surprise there. I hate this. It makes it seem that much more final. I knew it was coming, and if he didn't do it I needed to, but don't know if I was there yet. I have always told him if this is what he wants he needs to do it. Just shocking that he did. I have been trying to pay attention to actions and not words, and boy is this a big action on his part. The hope that I have of R is becoming more and more faint based on these actions from him. It hurts so badly. As soon as I post this, the STBX sends me a text and says I'm going to call you later to get info so I can file. To me that reads I'm busy right now, but wait for me and later when it's more convenient for me I will contact you to divorce you. So, I guess when the STBX says I'll call you in a little while, that means after he has done what he wants for the night, and we'll just call it 1 a.m. or something. Just when he gets around to it, I guess. So, I text him and said, hey, I'm going to bed, I'll call you tomorrow when I get off work. He replies and says okay. I ask if tomorrow is good or if there were another day that would work better for him, to which he replies, I don't know what I'm doing. Text me 30 minutes before you call. Are you serious? I don't think this convo will need to take more than a whole 10 minutes. I want to text him and tell him make this a priority if this is what you want so badly. Trying to be nice, so I said nothing. I don't get it. He really can't take 30 minutes out of his so busy day to get my info to file. He is not even working. So leave your friend alone for 30 minutes and handle your business. So rude of him. Need opinions. Why is he acting like this? If he wants to not be with me, why is he dragging his feet so to get it done with? Had a not so great day. Talked with the STBX last night so he could finish the paperwork to file. So blah about that. Driving to work this morning looking at where my wedding ring used to be. Finally took it off a little over a week ago. Missing what it meant to me, but also sad that it didn't mean enough to the STBX to try to work on our marriage. To make things worse, someone at work noticed I wasn't wearing my wedding ring, asks about it, and I just look at him. He nods and says he didn't know. I haven't told anyone I work with what is going on with us because part of me feels ashamed that our marriage didn't work, and also because I just don't think it's everyone's business. Just missing what I used to have. This night isn't getting any better. Can't stop thinking about how badly I still want the STBX to work on us. Wishing he would figure out that this might be shiny and new now, but it won't last forever. Sucks that he has given up so easily without looking back. Can't stop thinking about the ifs I would have done this or that. Can't seem to do the 180 with him. My messages just get ignored until it's convenient for him to reply or talk to me. I can't seem to get over the fact that he hasn't truly thought this through and just walked out to someone else instead of figuring out what is truly bothering him. I do love myself, just having a hard time not thinking about him and what we had. I guess it's the loneliness and wondering how he appears so happy and not to even be affected by any of this. Just a tough pill to swallow. Having a blah day today. Talked for about 3 hours last night with the STBX over text. Nothing serious, just casual friendly stuff, nothing about us. It was nice to be able to see him finally starting to warm up to me. In the past his messages have been cold and distant, and last night I saw a side of him I have not in a while. By no means do I think that anything like R will come of this. It was just nice to talk with my husband again. I miss that. Now I'm battling with my inner emotions. Part of me dislikes that I spoke with him yesterday because he is not worth my time. If he wants to be in my life, he has big changes to make, which he has made clear he doesn't want to do. I don't want to be plan B, but the other part of me misses what we used to have. I know I should be doing the 180, focusing on me and all that. And I think I am, to the best of my ability at the moment. But I can't help but think how would him being reminded of what we used to be, by having friendly chat, hurt his want to work on us. I just can't help but think surely that maybe, just maybe, it will trigger some emotions for him. Whereas if I'm not talking to him, maybe he just won't think of me. Sounds pathetic when I put it like that, but can't come up with any other words to explain it. I just want this to work out. I have to admit, at the beginning I hoped that he would come back to want to work on us, but now that he is wanting to see me, it is for all the wrong reasons. Update: things have been okay. Haven't heard from the STBX since Thursday night. Trying to keep busy with friends and family. Weekends always seem to be worse for me than when I'm working. Keeping my mind busy. It has gotten better though, doing okay with being alone. I would love to call the STBX and say, hey, let's get together and hang out. But I haven't, partly because I know he would say no, and the other half of me know that just won't help me. Trying to get rid of the thoughts of maybe he will see what he is doing since I stood up to him and told him I will not be his plan B. Not holding my breath on that one though, which I'm getting better at being okay with. Don't get me wrong, it is not something I'm obsessing over, but just a thought in the back of my head. I talked to him tonight and he keeps asking, so are you dating anyone? Have you been on any dates? I haven't, because I don't feel like I'm ready to put myself out there. While I have moved on in some instances, I don't feel like I am anywhere close to being ready to date anyone. My comment: he might be jealous. He might be looking for justification about his affairs. He might want to try and come back but can't, won't, because you're involved with someone. Who knows? It could be anything. The bottom line, though, it's none of his business. Period. Just move on and don't look back. Subscribe if you haven't. We are trying to reach 20,000 subs. See you in the next Love TV.